Can I get some wins with Kano, or am I just going to burn out? Let's find out. Hi friends, welcome back to Nearly Sane Games. I'm Neil, and this is the Armory Report. This week's Armory event, Classic Constructed, and I'm bringing out Kano once again to see what I can do. Hopefully this time it will be a little bit better, and I can pull out some wins. So let's take a look at how I did. My first round, I'm up against Prism. Not who I want to see. Generally not a good matchup for Kano, but he's only on Arcane Barrier 1. Don't underestimate Kano. He's coming for you. Let's see how we do. Now, turn 1, I take some hits. Not really interested in blocking very much, and I'm not terribly scared of his Herald's abilities. So I take some hits, and turn 0, I can throw back 2 snapbacks off the top. Not too bad. His Heralds and Auras quickly take me down to 17. Then I get an all blue hand, or mostly blue hand. So excited about that. And I throw in a Sonic Boom for 4. 3 hit, of course. And off the top, I pull off an Aether Spindle. Hits for 4. Or for 4. 3 hit. And I see a blue and 2 Blazing Aethers. All right. Blazing Aether for 6 and a Blazing Aether for 12. Take him down to 10. I'm able to find a Scour for 3, and then I add the Crucible on top of that. Blow up 3 of his... he had 2 Spectral Shields and another 0-cost Aura. Blow all those up. Good value for me. And in response, he makes another Spectral Shield, which blows up in the arcane damage. Still all good for me. So he takes 2 from that. I plink him down and look for the perfect hand. I get 2 E-Pots on board. He attacks. I Kano into a Stir the Aether Winds and am able to drop an Aether Wildfire for the win. Not bad, win against Prism. All right, round 2 is against Azalea. Azalea has 2 Arcane Barrier. Lets me go first. Okay, that's what I would like. So I throw down a Stir into a Sonic Boom, and that rolls into an Aether Flare, and then a Snapback on top of that. Not a bad start. 16-point attack. I block lightly. Azalea has a lot of on-hit effects with her arrows, but those on-hit effects really don't hurt Kano that much. Hey, you can't get go again next turn. All right, you don't have your hero's ability on your turn. Okay, I think I can do that. So he whittles me down. We get down to, he's at 16, I'm at 9. I don't like that very much. Again, he can throw a lot of big attacks, and I would like him much lower in life so I can get him into a better kill range. So that's what I'm trying to do, and I am looking for very light blocks in order for me to still have enough to throw back at him to really whittle down his life. That 2 Arcane Barrier, though, makes things a little bit tough, and I have to make my choices a little bit better. So I'm just kind of looking to see what I can do to survive to get to the next turn. I get him down to 8. He brings me down to 1. So he throws out an E-Strike, and I probably could have blocked this, but I decided to go for it. He's at 8. I had some decent blues. I Kano into an energy potion. It's fine. It's just basically losing 1 resource. And I really struggle looking for the line. And the correct line probably was block out. But I was worried that he still had a Razor. I think he did have a Razor. So that probably wouldn't have worked for me either. And so I'm able to find 9 points of damage, but he's got Arcane Barrier 2. So he's able to block 2 of it, only takes 7, goes down to 1. I die to a knee strike. Pretty close there. He only had 2 reds in his hands, so he used both of those to block that arcane damage. If I had managed to find 1 more point of damage, that would have been it. There was kind of 2 lines that I could take, and I think I went with the Sonic Boom line, and that wasn't quite enough damage. I also had an Aether Wildfire line, but that wouldn't have gotten me there either. I think both of them would have ended up with the same result. So, took a loss there. My round 3 was against a Briar with 1 Arcane Barrier, but the Spell Void 2 with a Shock Charmer. So, all right, here we go. It's a race. And he starts with a few attacks. He doesn't have the non-attack action, so the Thorn doesn't have the arcane attack to it, so I take most of that. I poke back with 6 points off the top, and ended up drawing a Forked Lightning and a Tome of Findel in the same hand. So I'm trying to think about what I'm going to do with this. Do I work on really trying to pump up my my Forked Lightning? He's still got that Spell Void 2, so I don't want to kind of just fizzle that, trying to get a big pump on that. So I throw the Forked Lightning at him. I pump it up with Crucible, so it comes in for 6, and I Arsenal the Tome. I figure if I can get the life gain off of this, draw 2 cards, then that'll put me in a pretty good spot. So he takes that damage. I think he Arcane Barriered a little bit of that, the 1 off of that. And his next turn is a lot. He's throwing a lot at me. And I'm thinking about that tome in my arsenal. I think I want to have a lot of cards in hand. My tunic's only going to 2, so I can't run it off the tunic. I'm going to have to pitch to do that. And I'm thinking I got to pitch a blue, so I'll have some resources left over. But he comes at me with a lot of attacks. So I do need to block. I throw down a card to block, so now I'm down to 3 cards. I'm like, this isn't great. But he throws a Coax of Commotion at me, which I take. And on that, he says, let's draw. All right, I'll draw. And get back up to 4 cards. And I go down to 3. Now, he's still at 24 at this point. So I pitch and pay for my tome, draw 2 cards, gain 5, go back up to 8. So a lot of thinking here. I really have to figure out what I want to do with my hand and where I want to go with it. So I finally decide my line, and my first attack is going to be Lesson in Lava, and then I have a Sonic Boom in hand, and I can pop the boots and get the Sonic Boom going and pull whatever I pull off the top. So I really want to make sure I decide what my Lesson in Lava is going to be. Throw down my Lesson in Lava. He blocks it all with his Spell Void and his Arcane Barrier. That was smart. I got to give him credit for that. That was a smart move. I was really going to set up some nastiness there. So with that, I decide to Kano. Blazing Aether on top. All right, let's go. Let's do this. And so I pop the boots. I Sonic Boom, pull into Stir the Aether Winds. And I'm able to Lesson in Lava off of that and finish off with the Blazing Aether, bringing him down to 10. All right. Next turn, I go down to 1. 1's not dead, so let's see what we got. I was able to Aether Spindle for 4, and he Arcane Barriers, so he goes down to 3, or he takes 3 of that. I scry 3, I'm looking at a Reverberate and a Snapback and something else on top, and I decide that the Reverberate's what I want. He's already blown his Spell Void, so I'm able to pop off the Reverberate. He takes 2 of it, and that opens the Blazing Aether in my hand, and I'm able to. He takes, yeah, 2 of that Blazing Aether for another 5. So 2-1 this week on Kano, and I'm really happy with that result. I'm really starting to get the idea of the lines I want for Kano, and it's definitely complicated. And getting those cards where you can scry for a lot are very important. Getting cards that open up your hand are very important, and deciding what in your hand you want to use for that. There was one time that I had a reverberate in hand, but I didn't have. I had 4 blues or 3 blues in my hand, other than the reverberate, and I think I ended up using that reverberate to block because that didn't get me. The blues were more important to me at that point because then I could play off the top, and that reverberate wasn't going to open up anything in my hand. So making those decisions, deciding what I'm going to do with my scry, and saving blues. Like some of those scries, I would see 2 blues and a red. So looking at my hand, I would say I can play the red off the top, and I'm going to do that. But then after that, I've got nothing else that I'm going to play off the top. So I want to draw those 2 blues. And getting those blues in my hand opens up the top of my deck. And if I'm drawing blues, what do you think's after that? Most likely a red. So it gives me a lot of power in there. Also, when I'm pitch stacking, and you need to think about pitch stacking, especially if the game goes unexpectedly long, I want to pitch stack in a way. If I've got reds in there, I want to cluster my reds together. I want to have 2 reds together and then a set of blues, because I want to find those in a cluster. I don't want to pull a blue and Kano into a red and then Kano again into a blue. I want to Kano, red, if possible. Still not smart enough to recognize when I'm hitting that pitch stack, but I think it's still important to do that way. There's been some speculation on maybe we should be running deep blue over Spring Tunic. I think you can. I think it would help in an all red hand, but I still like Tunic. I like Tunic because it blocks for 1, and that 1 block is important in the late game. And I have blocked with Tunic with 2 counters on it on turn 2 because I had better things to do with my hand. And I like having that flexibility, and I don't necessarily think that pitching a card and getting 3 resources is going to be the trade-off that I want. In the cases that I have that, I've generally lost Tunic already anyway. I probably would have pitched it before, and I don't know. I still like having that 1 block. I still like having the extra resource every 3rd turn. I think that still works well for me. I'm not consistently destroying people by turn 3 anyway. So Kano, a lot of fun, very interesting, and really figuring out those lines, deciding what you want to arsenal, all that stuff is very important, and considering the math and what you want to set up with a Lesson in Lava, what you want to set up with your scries, that is going to change the way you play this hero. And the better you can get at those things and deciding where you want to go next, what's the next card that you want to get off the top, the better you're going to be, I think, at playing Kano. He's still difficult, he's still a lot of math, but you can take your time because matches go very fast. And finding those lines that you can get in the teens, get in the 20s, that 1 attack I think was 22 damage with those double blazing Aethers, 24 damage because it was 6 and then another 6 off the blazing Aether, and then another 12 off the following Blazing Aether. Finding those lines are going to be the difference between having a good match with Kano and pulling blues off the top. So that's it for today. Next week, I believe, is Blitz. And nope, next week I think is Commoner. So don't know what I'm going to play with that yet, but we'll see you then. Until then, this has been the Armory Report.